We shall now take a look at a problem where we are going to find the sum of two matrices. So in order to find the sum of two matrices, one condition is must. Both the matrices must have the same number of rows and same number of columns. Otherwise, you cannot add those two matrices. So let me first explain to you the mathematical process so that when we are doing the program, it tends to be really simple. If A is a 2 into 2 matrix with these elements and B is the second 2 into 2 matrix with these numbers, elements or objects, whatever you may call them, A plus B is going to look something like this. Let us say the result of A plus B is going to be in C. It is going to be 1 plus 5 is going to come here, 2 plus 6 is going to come here, 3 plus 7 is going to come here, 4 plus 8 is going to come here, and this is how the sum of these numbers will look like in array or matrice C. So in order to find the sum, I have taken one array which will store this first elements, array B to store this set, and sum in place of C which is going to store A plus B. R1 stands for the number of rows in first array, R2 stands for number of rows in the second array, C1 stands for number of columns in the first, C2 stands for the number of columns in the second. So what I'm going to do here is, just before I miss, I and J are subscripts or indices in the array which are used for traveling in the array. First I am asking you, enter the order of the first matrix, row 1 and column 1. Similarly, I am asking you to enter the order of the second matrix, row 2 and column 2. So for both the matrices, I have got R1 is 2, C1 is 2, R2 is 2, C2 is 2 based on the data we have here. Now next what I am doing is, using the logic we have explained so many times, we are going to read numbers into an array. So using these two for loops, I am reading into array A 1, 2, 3, 4, into array B 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then next what I am doing is I am reading similarly elements into array B or the second matrice. Now we can proceed with the addition. Now before we proceed with the addition, I need to explain one condition which is really important. If the number of rows is equal to number of rows of the second matrix and number of columns of the first matrix is equal to the number of the columns of the second matrix, that means both the conditions should be true. Number of rows of the first should be equal to number of rows for the second, number of columns of the first should be equal to number of columns of the second. Only if this is true, I am proceeding to do the addition of matrix elements. In case they are of different sizes, then what happens is I come to this else condition. I come to this else and I print the message, matrices are not compatible, therefore addition of matrices is not possible. Now let me come here. Let me show you the first loop. Assuming in this case R1 equal to R2 and C1 equal to C2, so we are fine. We are coming in here. Now if you see, this is less than rows and then this is less than columns. So sum is quite simple. Sum is simply A of ij plus B of ij. So you can take the values of I and j and figure it out. I'll show you for a few numbers, then it should be really easy for you to guess it out or work it out. I is 0, j is 0. Alright. So what I am doing is I am adding A of ij is 0, 0. So let me put this. This is 0, 1. This is 0, 1. This is 0, 1. This is 0, 1. These are represent columns. These represent C1. This is C2. This represents R1. This represents R2. So what I am doing is I am saying sum. In place of C, I am using the array sum. So since A of ij plus B of ij, both I and j are 0. So I am adding this plus this. So the result is going to be stored in sum of ij 0, 0 because I is 0, j is 0. So the number what happens? 1 plus 5, 6 comes here. Then j is increased by 1. J becomes 1. 1 is still less than 2. Now I is still 0. 0 and 1. So it is referring to 2 here. 0 and 1 it is referring to 6 here. So 2 plus 6 is going to be equal to 8. Then I'm increasing the value of j by 1. It becomes 2. 2 is not less than 2. I go back here. I come to the next value of I. When I come to the next value of I, now I is 1, j is back to 0. So 1 0, I'm referring to this point, is equal to 1 0 is this fellow, and b of 1 0 is 7. 3 plus 7 happens to be 10. Now what I'm doing is I'm increasing j by 1. Okay, j by 1. 1 1, 1 and 1 is 4. 1 and 1 of this is 8. Okay, 4 plus 8 happens to be 12, which is again 1 1 of this particular fellow. Now if you see, if you want to print the sum of two matrices, you can simply do this particular stuff. For I equal to 0, I less than row 1. For j equal to 0, j less than column 1. I am simply printing the sum of ij. It will print 6 8 followed by 10 12. If the sizes were incorrect, it would say matrices are incompatible and it would halt at that particular point of time. So I hope you understood how to matrices you can find the sum using an array in C++. A really simple program. Please do not make any attempts to mug up. Just understand the logic. You will remember it very well and you'll be able to solve it in your exam, in your practical exam.